If I can have everyone's attention, please, here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Let the chase begin for the 2010 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Championship. And Kevin Harvick is leading off our day of chase driver press conferences. Kevin, we appreciate you coming in here today. Congratulations on a very successful regular season. Came out of that regular season, the first 26 races, as the top driver in points. He's seated third now in the chase with 5,030 points based upon his 3 victories in 2010. He drives the number 29 Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet. Kevin, talk about your outlook as we begin the chase on Sunday here at New Hampshire.
Well, I think for us, we just have to keep doing the things that we did up until this point. We won a few races, had a lot of top 5s and top 10 finishes, and on the days where we really struggled, I felt like we, for the most part, made something out of those days. And it was good enough to lead the points in the first 26, so there's really no reason for us to change our strategy. I feel like the guys have done a great job of getting the cars prepared. They built 4 or 5 new cars, and we'll see what happens. Whether we win or lose, I think everybody's done everything that we can control, and we'll just go race now.
All right, we'll take questions now for Kevin. I believe we have a couple of veterans here running the mics for us today, Ron Green and John Cardinelli. Guys, thanks for being here. We'll take a question right here. We'll start right here. Please state your name and affiliation.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Kevin, given what happened last year and where you're at right now, how does it make you feel when people say to Jimmy Johnson, "All right, who can stop you here?" And he said, "Well, I think Harvick's one of the guys, one of the favorites to potentially stop us." How do you feel about that?
Well, I think everybody's proud of everything that we've done to get turned around. And if you'd have told me at the start of the year that the turnaround was going to be as good as it has been, I think we'd all chuckled a little bit and said we hope so. But you never know how it's going to work out until you start racing. It's kind of like these last 10 weeks. You don't ever know what's going to happen until you get in here and race. So just proud of everybody. I think everybody's jacked up and just ready to go race and see where we stack up in the end.
Do you think that's a way for Johnson to start to put a little pressure on you guys, going like, "All right, you've been off the radar. I'm putting you on the radar," and sort of putting the favorite tag on you and try to take some pressure off of me?
I think he's still the guy to beat. He's won the last 4, so how can he not be until somebody beats him?
Next question. We'll take Kenny and then go to Nate.
Kenny Bruce, CNdaily.com. Kevin, you say you guys aren't going to do anything different because obviously what you've done has worked so far. But from a mental standpoint, what does it feel like to have a points lead of more than 200 and now all of a sudden you go into it and you're 30 behind? Does it feel any different to you?
For me, I just quit looking at the points about halfway through the year because things were going so good that it didn't really matter. We knew what we were racing towards, and that was a reset of the points, and we needed to figure out how to win more, and we did. We started winning races, and then as we got closer to the chase, we just raced, and that's really all we did. And now it's time to think about going back to leading laps and going back to if you're not in contention to lead laps on your own, you got to figure out how to get those 5 points, and you got to figure out how to qualify decent and do all the little things that we did up until that point. But myself and the whole team knew what direction we were racing towards the end of race 26, so the points didn't really matter. Once we got to a point of knowing that we were headed towards the chase, we started thinking about the chase and just we didn't even look. It didn't even matter.
Let's go Nate, Dwight, and Dan.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Kevin, all the Childress drivers have new chassis here this weekend. Can you talk maybe the thought process of that? Some people might think, hey, that might be a risk to come here with something you've never run before. What's that like going into a race like this where it's so important and you haven't had the car before?
Well, we think of that as a good thing. Those cars were built and massaged and rubbed on and really feel like they've been very detailed out as far as cars on the racetrack, and that's part of the process of what we feel like we did right coming into the chase was build new cars that take more lead, that make more downforce, and you know, that's why we saved them until now. And the good thing about all the things that we do now is we have wind tunnels, and we have the shaker rig, and we have the pull down machines, and everything that we put these cars on. You know what your good cars are, so you go and you put them all in that direction, and you try to make them better. So they're so good at building the cars now that I don't really think it's a risk. I think it's a good thing, and you know, I think you'll see that over the next several weeks from a lot of new cars coming out of our stable.
Since the new car came in, are they more predictable? Is it easier to build?
I feel like, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk about the unpredictability of what you bring to the racetrack, but I feel like our quality control is better than everybody else's, and the things that we do, to the processes that we put our cars through to make sure that they are built right and make the right downforce, and the downforce is in the right spots is something that we do really good. And I think RCR has always been very good at their quality control issues with the engine department, and that has bled over into the manufacturing department of the cars.
Let's go Dwight, Dan, and Mike Vega.
Dwight from racetake.com. Kevin, this is a little bit off the championship, but it's all about your good year. I noticed you're wearing a yellow Jegs hat, and that they're normally in drag racing, and they're going to be over here on your hood for the very first time. Could you have a comment on that, please?
Well, I think, you know, Jegs has been a part of us, whether it's been just small pieces here and there for the last couple, probably 3 years actually. This will be the third year. But they decided that they wanted to venture out. They do the contingency programs on the Cup and the nationwide side, and it's a big step for those guys to step out of the drag racing world and come over into the truck series and be the primary sponsors. So they've become good friends of ours, and we're looking forward to running well this weekend and hopefully having a good showing for them and showing them that the NASCAR side will work well for them.